This is the Transformers Generations War for Cybertron Trilogy Kingdom Voyager class Cyclonus. Here's a quick look at the packaging. Pretty cool. One of my favorite Decepticons in the Transformers 1986 movie. Very happy we finally got a more modern, updated look on him. And here is Cyclonus out of packaging. And this figure came out great. It is looking to be my favorite figure for the first wave of the Kingdom figures. When the Universe and Henkei Cyclonus came out, I was completely blown away. That was one of my favorite deluxe class figures during the Universe Henkei age of generation figures. The Combiner Wars came out. It was okay. It was pretty good. Didn't blow me away as much as this one. Then this one came, Kingdom. Oh my goodness. I am so glad I've sold off all my other Cyclonus figures because I knew Hasbro was going to do a better one, if not the best Cyclonus they've ever done so far for the Generations line. Oh my goodness. This figure just came out perfect. The purple looks great. The head sculpt is absolutely phenomenal. Transformation and engineering wise, oh my goodness, it is one of the best engineered transformations I've seen. I love the gun. Very few things to improve on this figure. We'll talk about that later, but overall you can just appreciate how amazing this figure looks. It's just one of the best Voyager class or G1 related character that Hasbro's ever produced. Before we begin, guess what trading card I got? It is another Optimus Prime. Why do I even need this? I mean, was a Cyclonus card very difficult to do? Did you have to do it random? I honestly don't get it. Why randomize the cards? It's not that difficult. Anyway, so let's have a closer look at the details of the figure. Love this purple. It's a little bit of a periwinkle type of purple. The arms they don't kind of match. They're like off-colored compared to the lighter wisteria colored torso and shoulders and wings. The arms are a little bit odd that they made it into sort of a darker purple, but that's fine. Legs, you get to see some metallic knee guards right here. I thought that was pretty cool. Some paint apps, tempos right here. I love the details of the robot mode. You can barely see any of the jet parts. The wings definitely have to be there. And the head sculpt, this is what sells this figure for me. I think by far this is one of the best, if not the best, Cyclonus Generations head sculpt that Hasbro's ever done. Just look at that grimace. Galvatron, I serve you. We must go back to Unicron. That's not his voice. I know, I'm just, I'm inventing. Also, what you will note is he's got this amazing light piping right there. You just shine a light. Oh, wow. Look at that. Ominous looking eyes from Cyclonus. Galvatron's Enforcer. In fact, also Galvatron's Ride Across the Galaxy. If I'm not mistaken, Galvatron did ride and use him as a spaceship. So he's got his gun. Is so close to his G1 gun. Pretty cool. It's a purple plastic painted in this really nice metallic silver. The silver kind of, it's not plain silver. It kind of evokes a little bit of a purple sheen to it. Don't know if you can see it, but look at that. It's reflecting a little bit of the purple. I love that touch. Very cool. In terms of articulation, the figure has a ball-jointed neck, very emotive neck and head. The neck is also on a hinge joint, allows you to move it, rock it back and forth. He's got a waist swivel, but it's on the crotch piece. And the arms can go outward. Very cool. They've added this extra piece just to make it look connected and it doesn't split apart. Moves forward and backward. You got a bicep swivel, hinge elbow. Swivel wrist, yes, very tight swivel wrist. Yep, you can swivel it. Hips can go all the way like this, forward and backward. Thigh swivel. Hinge knees. Knees are kind of double jointed. If there's one thing I'm nitpicking about the robot mode, it's this. that the knees don't have anywhere to ratchet on or to stop or a peg to just clip on. It's really left up to the creativity of us collectors to how you're going to position the knees. The box says it's about like this, which makes sense that the joint would be just above the lower leg. So, but it just doesn't work as much. This one works great. The left leg is, I think that's perfect. It bends loose enough, but this one's very tight. But then again, I'd rather have tighter joints than loose joints. The feet go a little bit up and down, and I thought there were no rocker joints or rocker pivots, but apparently there still is. This is a staple for the War for Cybertron Trilogy figures, and actually pretty cool. It does not part of the transformation. They just added that just to make the figure look cooler. Back kibble, hardly anything to complain about. A little bit of kibble right here, but that's negligible. Some mismatched colors right here. The beige metallic paint on the hip and the thigh, but that's fine. Like I said, a lot of very, very minor issues for the robot mode. Very forgivable. Nice Decepticon logo right there. And for some size comparisons, here he is with Skywarp. And for those of you who still want to push the argument, okay, here he is with Bombshell. And a lot of you, some of the arguments I've seen online were, well, they both turned into Cyclonus, and he was in front, he was in the back. I think based on the animation, there was a mistake in the placement of the figures. It should have been Bombshell here and then Skywarp there. They were rotating. I don't know. But it just makes more sense if Skywarp really did turn into Cyclonus, Thundercracker into Scourge, because they were the two loyal seekers to Megatron, and the sweeps were actually the Insecticons, because the sweeps were like Legion, much like the Insecticons. So I think for me, there's no argument there. Skywarp is Cyclonus, while Thundercracker is Scourge. The Insecticons were the sweeps. So let's transform Cyclonus. Take out the blaster right here. Okay, first thing we ought to do is the arms, okay? So what you want to do is lift this up right here. Go ahead and rotate the fists inward and close that back. Do the same on the other side. Rotate that, close it back. Okay. Then what you want to do is you want to transform this upper torso. And to do that, why don't we get the wings out of the way first? So just do this. Rotate the arms this way. That. This way. The arms this way. Okay, and then just tab them in. Like that. Peel this out like this. All right. And then what you want to do is you want to open this back part like this, and open this front part right here. That. And then this whole neck assembly or head assembly is going to rotate right like this, just like that. The head's going to nestle right there in the middle of the chest. Okay, fold this whole back piece right back like that. Okay, and then you assemble the nose cone. Go ahead and fold this piece down, and then extend that bit of the nose cone, fold it back up like that. Did I just break something? I hope not. Some paint chipping. And this one, fold this one like this. Just open it, and then you gotta fish this thing out. It's pretty kind of hard to do. Just fold that out, that spike, close that back in. That whole engineering of the nose cone, how it compresses right there in his torso, I thought that was just brilliant engineering from Hasbro. And it gets better. There's a lot more of incredible engineering with this figure as we transform him into his Cybertronian starship or jet mode. Okay, fold the chest back up like that. Okay, and then what you want to do is lift these things up like this so that you got enough clearance. Make sure it's above the cockpit. These pieces, these panels right here, they're above the cockpit, because you're going to rotate that entire cockpit assembly just like that. It'll click in place, and then you just let them sit right here. Don't collapse it just yet until you do the feet. Okay, to do the feet, what you want to do is you want to lift these back pieces right here. Go ahead and fold up those feet. Fold out the thrusters. Fold these things down and lock those thrusters in place. Now make sure the legs are aligned properly before tabbing them in. Tab them in like that. And then what you want to do is, as I mentioned earlier, the knees, they do have joints, double joints. They can collapse right there onto the thighs. The lower legs will collapse onto the thighs, and they're going to tab onto the cockpit just like that. Nice and solid. Okay, and then these pieces right here, the flaps, panels, they're going to sit right here. And then the arms are going to tab in right here. Okay, tab them in like that. And finally, the rest of the wing flaps or wing tips, they go like that. And there you go. There is Cyclonus in his Cybertronian warbird or Starship alt mode. Galvatron just pilots the cockpit. Okay. And there is a way to attach this one right here on top, which I thought was kind of corny. It just breaks the whole silhouette, but it still looks fine, to be honest. Let's just take it off for the time being. You can pop out the landing gear right here. Okay, front part and the back part right there. It's a little hard, a little tight, especially when the first time you do it. It's going to be tight, but you do it too many times, it's going to loosen up, and there you go. That's the landing gear, and he looks great. Just absolutely amazing. And with the landing gear down, you can actually squeeze that into this slot on the gun. Hold on. I thought this was a better configuration for that gun. And it doesn't break that silhouette right on top, but this is what Hasbro says. So, okay. We'll put him right here. And for some size comparisons, here is G2 Sandstorm, the ramjet mold, just to give you a sort of scale, an idea of scale for this figure. It's pretty big. I mean, it's pretty hefty. Voyager class figure. It's a great scale. I do like it. And you get to see a lot of the robot pieces, very clean, very nicely compressed. Just amazing engineering to compress everything. That nose cone extending, the arms and the legs, a lot of the robot parts hidden. And I think this is one of the most well-engineered Transformers from the War for Cybertron line. And so some final thoughts on this figure. I think it's an amazing figure. And I want to give this figure an 11 out of 10. That is how much I was impressed with this figure. Very little to improve on it. This is a perfect figure, a figure that's beyond perfect in my opinion. And it's not a Beast Wars figure, and it should have been an Earthrise figure, maybe even a Studio Series 86 figure, but they released it in Kingdom. Doesn't matter. It is a Generations figure in my opinion, and it is one of the best Hasbro and Takara Tomy have done. I highly recommend you pick up this figure. If you're looking to pick up a Decepticon from the Kingdom line, this is the one you want to pick up. There you go, folks. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this figure. And as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. If it's your first time here, please subscribe. And if you want to help the channel out, please check out my Patreon account. There's a link in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for staying to the very end of the video. I just wanted to reiterate my point about this figure. If there's anything, the highlights of this figure really is, one is the nostalgia. It just looks so G1 Cyclonus, both in alt mode and in robot mode. Second, the engineering is absolutely perfect, near flawless engineering on the part of Hasbro and Takara Tomy. The jet bits are well hidden in robot mode. Robot parts are well hidden in jet mode. There's really not a more you can ask from this mold. And third, it's just a really, really nice, well-made, high-quality figure. The plastic is just amazing. We don't get any of that cheap, soft plastic we got from Trailbreaker, from Warpath, and all that. It's a solid, solid toy, and just an amazing figure overall. So both a collectible and as a playable toy, just, it is really very impressive. There you go. Thanks for watching.